Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is the very first day of Invictus 2955. Today is Grey Cat and Aegis Day. That means we're getting the Grey Cat MTC and the Mighty Idris. Now, many of us have speculated about this ship's release. I made a predictions video previously saying that CIG should just release the Idris already, and there were little hints that were dropped along the way, like the sub-flare item, the Idris P t-shirt, and leaks about the Idris paints and possible K-Kit modules. It turns out that many of these leaks were true. CIG even named the title of their video, "The Rumors Were True." So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Idris trailer that CIG dropped, and then we're going to go into a little bit more details about this ship, the naming schedule, the schedule of when you're able to buy this ship, because this is a limited hull ship, and we're going to go over the full Invictus 2955 ship schedule. Things are a little bit different this year, but it's going to be very exciting. So if you guys think that's interesting, let's get right into this video.
Patience.
Okay, so one thing right off of the bat that many people have kind of alluded to about this trailer, right? The background, right? This location is not something that we've really seen in Stanton or Pyro. The spacescaping is green. There's lightning in the clouds. What star system do you guys think this is? Leave your predictions in the comments below.
It's not passive. Not idle. It's quiet preparation.
And there it is, the laser beam weapon from the Idris K kit. So we know we're getting that as well.
Sharpened intention. Resolute. To watch and wait. So, you hold.
You got the Hornet series there, and I gotta say, CIG does a really good job with these trailers.
Against haste. Beyond fear.
Could also see the hollow table working in the briefing room. Very interesting. And of course, this is the engineering area. Apparently, the cores can go up and down. Again, this is kind of like a cinematic thing. I don't know if these will be, animated in the game.
Because you trust.
Also, here's kind of an interesting part. This area in the Idris P is kind of like a cargo room. On the Idris M, I believe it's like a missile room. I'm not entirely sure, but you can kind of see something coming out of this opening. Then at the front here, of course, we have the missile turret from the K kit. So CIG's inserting little hints, right, about what this ship is really going to be all about when we get it in our hands. So when people start playing with it today, it's going to be pretty exciting. I can't wait to see all the videos from the community come out about this ship. And you really see that beam weapon there again. I have no idea what the DPS is going to be on that, what the stats are going to be, but that is a unique weapon.
From that quiet, your moment will come.
There it is. At your command, and you got the beam weapon there from the K kit, and you also have the missile turret up there from the K kit. So very exciting stuff, you guys. I don't personally have an Idris myself, but there has also been rumors, or well, we've kind of already seen this, that there is going to be a size 12 torpedo attachment, right, for the front of the Idris, where this beam weapon is, where the railgun usually is. So there'll apparently be different kits that you can buy for the Idris, not just the K kit, right, where you can install a torpedo module, right? That is going to be massive. The size 12 torpedoes are larger than what's on the Polaris. Size 12s are what's on the Javelin, right? So a lot of Polaris owners have an interesting decision to make this Invictus, if they should upgrade. But we'll also see if the price increases. Right now, as the filming of this video, it is right before the actual sale goes live, so I don't have access to know all the details about the MTC and the Idris, but I will be making a full video of all of today's festivities tomorrow. When we have a chance, I can, you know, take more time and go down to the show floor and rent things and show you guys what's up. So I'm looking forward to that. There's no rush. We got a lot of stuff to go over. But now that we've seen that video, let's go over and take a look at kind of Q&A, the FAQ, about the Idris naming schedule, when you're able to actually buy one, and all of the ships that are going to be on sale this Invictus. Alright, so Synthwave CIG posted a thread on Spectrum going over the Idris ship naming. This is incoming. So CIG is basically rolling out new ship naming stuff, and the Idris will be added to the list. So as part of Invictus Launch Week 2955, we're introducing ship naming for the Idris. As has been the case with previous iterations of ship naming, the Idris will now be available to display a player assigned name on the hull. So this is not just a tag, this is visible on the hull like some other ships. Ship naming rights for the Idris will be granted based on the date the pledge was acquired. On Tuesday, May 27th, we'll open up naming for original 2012 concept ship pledges and golden ticket holders, before inviting the next waves over the following days. This cycle honors the early backers and gives the new Idris naming system a chance to cool down between waves. If you're a proud pilot of an Idris M or Idris P, have a look at the waves overview below to find out when you can name your ship. For ships that have been melted and reclaimed, the buyback date is used to determine wave access. So if you were an early Idris owner, but you melted it and bought it back, the date that you bought it back is when it will go into effect. So the Idris naming waves, Wave 1, May 27th to the 29th, all the way to Wave 6, June 11th to 13th. And I will post this Spectrum thread in the video description below, so you guys can check it out yourself and read it in further detail. So how do I name my Idris? So you can go to the Idris naming FAQ. It has all the info you need about the process. You can change the name you've chosen. While you can change the name as often as you like during the iteration of ship naming, it's important to note that this is only temporary. So the way CIG want to do it is that there will be kind of like changing your handle essentially for your game character. Why can't I see the name I assigned to my ship? Okay, note, if you log on during the patch that introduces ship names before the naming of your ship, you may not immediately see your ship name you've assigned. If this is the case, the name will become visible with the next patch. So you just have to be a little bit patient. Which variant of the Idris can be named? Ship naming will be available for both the M and the P. Okay, note that the upgrade kits are unaffected. So upgrade kits are essentially modules that you add to your ship. But what's important here is they say kits. So this is kind of confirming that there will be more than one. And as we have already alluded to earlier in this video, there will be a Idris size 12 torpedo module as well. When will ship naming be available for other ships not listed? In addition to the Idris, a selection of other ships became available with ship naming in the initial introduction of ship naming. These introduced the Hammerhead, the Reclaimer, the Carrack, the Mercury Star Runner, the Origin 600i, and the Origin 890 Jump. They're currently looking into how ship naming will apply to additional hulls. So if you like to name a ship that isn't currently available for naming, something that will be addressed later as the work progresses. Now, I'm thinking this will probably, be something that they'll roll out for different ships. So we won't likely get that all of the ships have this feature all at once. How will you prevent inappropriate names for ships? This is a pretty good question. They'll have filters in place to catch inappropriate names, and they reserve the right to rename a ship that has an inappropriate name. Okay. Can multiple ships have the same name? What if the name I want isn't available? The names will be unique per hull. For example, several ships can be named Belligerent Duck, but only one Idris M or Idris P can have this name. So basically the Idris hull is considered one hull series. So if you have an Idris P, it can't be named the same thing as an Idris M, if that makes any sense. If I miss my assigned wave, will I still be able to name my ship? Yes, you'll still be able to name your ship if you log in after your assigned wave, although the longer you wait, the more people you'll be competing with for your chosen ship name. So if you want to name a ship something that's kind of generic, or a name that's more popular, maybe you want to use a famous name like Millennium Falcon, for instance, this name will more than likely be taken, so don't wait. And that is the naming FAQ. So now let's go over and look at when you'll be able to actually buy the Idris. Okay, so Invictus launch week 2955. This is the list of available limited hull ships. So during this year's event, we're making available limited quantities of the following ships: the Aegis Idris P, the Javelin, the Constellation Phoenix, the Drake Kraken, and the Kraken Privateer. Notice the M is not available in limited hulls for this round. And you could see the wave times here, so you kind of just have to do the calculation to see when it will go on sale in your time zone if you are an international buyer, right? Starting on May 15th, the Idris P and the Javelin will be available day one. On May 17th, the Constellation Phoenix, and then on May 25th, the Kraken and Kraken Privateer. So yeah, now we're going to look at the full schedule. This is just an image of the manufacturer days, which we've touched on, but we're going to go down the entire list of all of the ships that will be available this year. All right, so day one, that is today, May 15th and 16th, so today and tomorrow, Aegis Dynamics and Grey Cat Industrial. So we have the Avenger Stalker, the Avenger Titan, the Avenger Renegade, and the Warlock. The Eclipse, Gladius, Valiant, Hammerhead, Redeemer, Retaliator, Saber, the Comet, the Firebird, the Harbinger, Hoplite, Sentinel, and Warden. Okay, so if you're interested in any of these ships today, they will be available to purchase on the store and rent in the game. It's very important to note. on the specific manufacturer date is when you'll be able to rent that ship. So if you're interested in any of the Aegis ships here, you'll be able to fly them for free during the 15th and the 16th. And whenever you rent a ship, you'll have that ship for 48 hours. So if you wait until the 16th to rent the ship, you'll still have access to it on the 17th. So it gives you a little bit more time. Now you can only rent one ship one time. So if you rent the Redeemer on day one, if you don't fly it, then you won't be able to rent it again on the 16th or whatever. So you get one rental, it's free, but there's a lot of ships to check out. So I would suggest focusing on the ships that you're really interested in purchasing. That way you can have more time with it. But yeah, many of us know about all of these ships, right? So I wouldn't say that there's any ship here I'm especially interested in. The only ship that I would say is not here that's Aegis that a lot of people might be interested in is the Reclaimer. Of course, that's not strictly a military ship. That's a salvage ship. But yeah, it does not look like you'll be able to rent the Reclaimer. Then we have Grey Cat Industrial. Is proud to make their debut presence at Invictus. Stay tuned. We know now that this is the MTC. Okay, then on the 17th and the 18th, we have RSI, Origin Jump Works, and Argo. So we have the Aurora LN, the Andromeda, the Aquila, the Phoenix, and the Taurus Constellation series. Then we have the Lynx for some reason. This is kind of like a luxury transport, so I don't know why the Lynx is here. But we'll also have the Mantis and the Scorpius. Then the Scorpius Antares, the Ursa, and the Ursa Medevac, right? And then for Origin, we have the 125A and the 325A. Interestingly enough, we do not have the combat variant of the G12 here. So in past years at Invictus, we have had the combat G12. This is kind of like it has missiles on the roof rack available at Invictus. It does not seem like we will be having that this year. And again, a lot of people have pointed out that it is kind of odd that CIG chose to debut the MTC instead of the G12, because the G12 does have that military variant as well as a racing variant, which it's no surprise that version's not here. But the 325A and the 125A are good ships that people would want to take a look at. For Argo, we have the Cargo, the Personnel, the Tractor, and the SRV. Again, these are all really industrial ships, but we know that the MPUV series is complementary to the Idris. And since the Idris is being released, people might want to pick up an MPUV for that hangar. I don't know if the Idris P comes with the MPUV or which variant of the MPUV comes with the Idris, but we know it has that dedicated hangar for the ship. I just don't know if that ship comes with the Idris. So we'll see that later on as the day progresses. The SRV, in my opinion, it still needs a little bit of love, but that ship will also be available if you're interested in towing. Then on May 19th and 20th, we have Marai, Misk, and Consolidated Outland. For Marai, we have the Fury and the Fury MX. This is the snub fighter and the missile variant of the snub fighter. Then we have the Guardian, the Pulse, and the Razor EX. Now, we also know that we will have the Guardian MX, which is the missile variant of the Guardian. Interestingly enough, what's not mentioned here is the QI variant of the Guardian, right? We know that the QI variant is a combat ship, so not entirely sure why that is omitted here as well. Again, maybe the devs just forgot to put it on the list, but it just has the Guardian No word on the Guardian MX or QI, but if the Guardian's available, I think it's safe to assume that those variants will be available as well. Not entirely sure why the Razor EX here. It's supposed to be stealth, but yeah, that's kind of an interesting choice. Of course, the Pulse does have a weapon on it. There is a racing version of the Pulse. I don't think that one will be available. Then we have the Freelancer Misk, the Reliant Tanner, which is the Combat Reliant and the Combat Freelancer. Then we have the Silencer Max. This is a cargo ship, but it is well armored and gunned or whatever you want to call it. So this kind of makes sense for them to put the Silencer Attack. We've seen that. That's flyable. A lot of people are already testing it out and enjoying it. We will be able to buy that on this day. Then we have the Starfarer Gemini. This is the missile variant of the Starfarer. And for Consolidated Outland, we have the Delta. This is the combat version of the Mustang. May 21st and 22nd, we have Crusader, Tumbrel. For Crusader, we have the Inferno, the Ion, the A1. We have the C1. The C1 is a cargo variant, but I could see it being here. We have the A2 and the C2. Again, the C2 is kind of a, it is, they're saying here, military grade space frame. Many people do use the C2 to transport tanks and different things, so that definitely makes sense here. Then we have the M2. This has the seats in it, more guns, more military focus. And we have the Mercury Star Runner. This is a data runner. It is not good for combat. I don't know why it's here, but it is a cool ship nonetheless. For Tumbrel, we have the Cyclone series. Of course, you have the AA, MT, RN, and TN. TR, I mean, the only one that wouldn't be here is the Racing Cyclone. Then we have the Nova, the Storm, and the Storm AA. On May 23rd and 24th, we have Anvil. For Anvil, we have the Arrow, the Ballista, the C8R Pisces. This is the medical version. The C8X Pisces. This is exploration version. Doesn't look like we have the standard version. We have the Anvil Carrack, the Centurion, the Hornet Mark II, the Super Hornet Mark II, the Lightning. This is kind of interesting. I don't know in what capacity the Lightning will be on sale. If it will just be for ticket holders or if it will be for everyone. I know that previously when the Lightning went on sale, CAG had said that if you found a F8 Lightning ticket but you didn't redeem it, you have multiple chances in the future to redeem it, right? So if you have an F8 Lightning ticket but never redeemed it, you have an opportunity to buy it again. So I don't know if they're going to do that again. Few vehicles inspired the same awe as legendary F8 Lightning are forced to be reckoned with. It has protected humanity countless of times for countless of threats at home and far from civilization. Again, yeah, I don't know what capacity this is going to be on sale. Is it going to be on sale to everyone or just ticket holders? We'll see when this day comes up. Then we have the Gladiator, the Hawk, the Hurricane, the Spartan, the Terrapin Medic, and the Valkyrie. Now, of course, we know as well, we will also be getting the Asgard. This is, in my opinion, a Valkyrie variant, but it is essentially a larger vehicle transport ship. And it's actually pretty cool. I'm potentially interested in it, right? Because I wanted, personally a ship that could do cargo and combat. So depending on how it flies, I definitely want to rent it so I can test it out myself to see if it's something I might be interested in. But if it flies good and can do combat, kind of as a solo player, it's a two-person ship, but, of course, there are ways around that. If I can do combat missions in it and haul cargo and vehicles in it, then it may check all the boxes I'm looking for. So I'm also very interested in Asgard, but the Valkyrie is also available. Kind of comes down to the price, right? On May 25th, we have Drake Interplanetary. We'll have the Buccaneer, the Caterpillar, the Corsair, the Black, the Blue, the Red, and the Steel Cutlass, the Drake Cutter, the Cutter Rambler, the Cutter Scout, the Dragonfly, the Golem, the Herald, the Mule, and the Vulture. So all of the Drake ships basically will be here. The one thing that we have not seen so far is the Ironclad, right? No word on if the Ironclad will be available. The Ironclad is in concept, but they are developing it. So many people hope that it will be released at the end of the year. I don't see it in the lineup of ships that will be available. It obviously won't be available to test fly yet, but hopefully, again, fingers crossed, people who missed out on an opportunity to buy an Ironclad or Ironclad Assault, which is the military variant, do get another chance to get the Ironclad again. Again, just going over this again. Yeah, I don't see the Ironclad here, so we'll see if it ends up there. And then that's it. Wrap up. Invictus launch week come to a close. All vehicles from previous days will be available for free from the 26th to the 27th. Don't forget, free fly ends on the 27th as well. So that is everything that you guys need to know about Invictus. Today is day one. Get out there, try some ships, go to the show floor, go to the Idris tour, enjoy the festivities. For all the new people coming into Star Citizen, I hope the servers are in a good mood for you guys to have a good experience. But I'll be seeing you guys. I'm going to be making a ton more videos covering this event. That's the big news. We're getting the Idris. Thanks for hanging out with me again in this video, you guys. But that's going to be it for me in this one. Want to hear everything that you guys think in the comments down below. You know I love talking to you guys and discussing this game with you. It's one of my favorite hobbies. So, with all that said, like I always say at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Salute.